The Stephie Small Show on the Sports Gambling and Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SMALLS. Also, college football team previews are back on the College Experience. Colby Dan and Moneyline Mac preview every FBS college football team, and you don't want to miss it.
Are you ready?
I was going to say happy hump day, but it is not hump day. It is Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to the Stephie Smalls Show. I'm your host, Stephie Smalls. I don't know. We're up to episode 31 or something with the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I have fun guests this week. I'm very excited about. First up today is going to be George. We're going to talk. I want to learn all about George, and we're going to talk about some of his NFL futures. And then I have RB coming on. I got to recap the U.S. Open. Still, that's going to sting. Sam Burns is going to sting for a little bit here, and then PJ bets for the Travelers. So without further ado, very highly requested GRP wins on X. George, how are you?
Stephanie, it's good to be here. I'm glad you invited me on a couple weeks ago, and perfect timing for both of us, two Midwest people. And
yes,
I think this is my first interview by a woman, so this is exciting.
I know. What is this? This is all the everyone has so many questions about you coming on to a female show. It's very funny. That was one of the biggest remarks when I told everyone you were coming on.
Hey, I love, you know what? Let it rip. I love it. Let me hear the questions.
So yeah, what everyone loves you. You were like requested by several people. How long have you been on like Gambling X? Has this been a long time or?
Well, the big ruling was made in 2018, the sports gambling ruling from the Supreme Court. So I knew things would take off, and I can't believe it now. That was 7 years ago. I mean, technically, I've been on Twitter before that, but I, never really did anything with it. And then everything kind of blew up 2-3 years ago. Made some videos.
Yeah.
Just did a whole bunch of different things, and everything everything's exploded the last 2-3 years. But I've been promoting myself since 2018, which was 7 years ago when the big ruling came down.
Crazy. Yeah. And I think what you do so well in that a lot of the space lacks is authenticity. So you're basically just doing these videos and it's just George. Like, there's nothing else to it. There's no frills. It's just straight to the point.
Right. And you know what else happened? Because in the summer, I'm more of a football guy, and there's a little bit of a lag in the summer. It's like you need a little content. You need to keep people engaged. So about a year ago, I decided to do my my food pictures, and and I just do my ham off the bone. And with social media, you never know what's going to take off. And there's something about the ham off the bone and the napkin trick under the plate, and there's little things that people just go nuts about, and it just takes off.
It's so funny how that happens too, because it's always the tweets you don't expect to take off end up being the ones that the people love. Like I had one about Bonnie Blue and LeBron James the other day, and I was not expect. It was just a random thought, and apparently everyone thought it was funny, and everyone had something to say about it. But it's always the ones that you don't expect.
And a year ago, because I bite my nails, so I would bit my cuticle and started bleeding, and I made a video of that, and everyone's like, save that page with the dried blood. It could be worth $1 million one day. And the weirdest things take off on social media.
It's so funny. So tell me about. So is breakfast your thing? Like I'm trying to figure out what is your favorite? Is breakfast the one that you love the most? Like I tried to go through all your pictures and I can't decide what I think you like more.
Right. Well, I think I like just to go out and I like to go to restaurants to eat. And, breakfast is the first one of the day, and that's where it kind of all starts. It's kind of like my way of saying hello to my followers for the day with my breakfast picture. And it's, I ham off the bone and use our pancakes. And, half the time I'll do the lunch picture, and half the time I'll do the dinner picture.
Yeah.
And now I started barbecuing a couple weeks ago. I put oregano on the steak, and that drives people crazy. Like, what's that stuff on the steak? What'd you put on there? I'm like, it's just oregano, dummy. Don't get on. I go like, this is part of life. I'm like, I guess it's kind of more of a Greek Italian thing. Like 80% of people do not put oregano on a steak. I'm like, I think oregano is great. What's wrong with oregano? And people go nuts. People go nuts with all these things.
Everyone always has comments on other people's foods. I love it. And I saw you put pork chops on the grill. I've never grilled pork chops. Are they good on the grill?
I'm not a big pork chop guy, but I went to the store a week ago. They were like big, thick ones with like the bone and the fillet. I'm like, and they're on sale. I'm like, well, I got to get a couple of these. And it really went. My mom's like, why did you give me a pork chop? This is the day where my mom said, my mom went to the store the day before and she already got a steak for herself. And I got, oh, you already told me you already got a steak. She goes, she wanted one of my pork chops. I said, no, they're both for me.
I love it. I like applesauce in my pork chops. Have you ever done that?
That's the one I get at a steakhouse. That's about $32. It's a beautiful pork chop. And it comes with applesauce and grilled peppers. It's like perfect side dishes. And it's just a great meal.
Hits the spot. That's the good stuff. Okay, so what would your if you were on death row, what would your last meal be? Like what's the perfect last meal?
You know what? It may be prime rib lamb chops, Caesar salad.
Good choice.
Probably a double baked potato, stuff like that. That would be my last.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks, I don't know why. I think your audio is cutting out a little bit for the people here. I don't know if J Mark can do anything with that.
Can you hear that crackling noise?
You're a little choppy for me. I for some reason can understand what you're saying, but apparently the chat cannot.
I
don't know.
It must be. I think it's my phone. It's only a year old. 14 old. I'm just gonna have to get a new one. This is crazy.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well, listen. I don't want to hold you up too much. I took a peek at some of your NFL futures. Did you add anything to the notebook so far, to your paper list?
Yes, this fiscal year started just after the draft ended.
Okay.
And my big position is Dan Campbell, coach of the year for Detroit. Basically, I have him at an average price of about 34 to 1, and I have about $600 total. So I would win a little more than $50,000 if Dan Campbell is coach of the year. So that's my big position, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had already placed that bet before I saw it on your list there. You got a better number than me. Maybe that's because I'm a girl. I don't know. So maybe we're not shocked there, right? Is that what it is, George? No. So I think a lot of people are overreacting to the Lions in general. I think that they lost. So, some coordinators here and there. But listen, I think Dan Campbell and this team are going to surprise people somehow, but it shouldn't be a surprise.
That you cannot deny they have great talent. The injuries they had last season. I mean, that was their year to win the Super Bowl. The previous year, they lost to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. They were all set. It was a complete 1,001 fluke, the injuries. The only problem being this year they lost both their coordinators, the offensive defense. But I'm a big Dan Campbell fan. You cannot deny the talent. And so a lot of people make the dumb comment, well, last year they won 15-2. He didn't win coach of the year. How's he going to win this year? It doesn't work that way. It's something that people vote on. He's had 2 great years in a row. He's due to win the coach of the year. If they go 13-4, 12-5, he's right there to be coach of the year, and I'll take my 34-1 shot, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, and the difference last year was that the expectations were high, and this year the expectations are a little bit lower. So even that gives him a little bit of a plus right there. Is that they're going to somehow exceed expectations because they shouldn't be as low as they are by the general public even.
Bingo. That's right. It's a psychological thing. It's a sentiment thing. Their over-under number is 10.5. I didn't bet it, but if I had to bet it, I would definitely bet over. But I've already got enough money on Dan Campbell, so if they have a really good year, I'll win.
Yeah.
So I don't want to risk too much on one position.
Yeah, that's fair. Another one that you looked at, which I like as well, is that Panthers under 6.5 wins. I think you got it at plus 126, maybe it was. Talk to me about that one there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I have plus juice on that one. Granted, the quarterback, he finished strong last year, but talent-wise, I don't think they have more than a couple good players on the team. Again, I'm getting juice. They still got to win 7 games. Atlanta and Tampa are decent. And hey, it's just a bet, and I've lost bets before. I've won bets. I hope I win it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then you look at their last, because people, everyone talks about how they played down the stretch, and like 7 of their last 9 games are decided by 7 or fewer points. So I think that as much as some of those games they looked better, it was also, they were very close games. Their defense was 32nd in DVOA. I don't know how much they changed there for me to feel a lot better. So I kind of like taking the under. This is another team that the expectations seem to be getting very high for. I expect them to still play better than they played, but that's not really saying a lot, I don't think.
Yeah, no. Again, the quarterback, he's a little small. Maybe they got one wide receiver. I like the under.
Very nice. Who else? This is one that I want to hear about before I let you get out of here. Bill's worst team. Talk to me about this 750 to 1. That's spicy, George.
It's real simple. I'm getting 750 to 1. I hate to say it. I'm a Josh Allen fan. Last year I won 10 grand. I bet him to be the MVP. I risked 2 grand. I won 10. So I like Josh Allen, and I hope the Bills win. If I don't win, I hope they win the Super Bowl. But yes, I'm getting 750 to 1. I don't want to root for an injury, but if Josh Allen gets injured in the preseason or like game 1,
there you go. Okay.
I got this for you. I don't think their talent is that good. I really don't. And I'm getting 750 to 1, and I could be famous if I win it.
Yeah. No, I actually don't hate the Eagle. I hate betting for people to get hurt, but unfortunately, sometimes you got to do it. Like, I think like Saquon's rushing yards is one that I've already bet the under on that, because I think his usage, unfortunately, he has a history of getting used too much. And then the next year you see him get hurt week 3, week 4. And that number is set quite high. So I think you can take angles on guys getting hurt without being an asshole too. So
Right, and I think 2 of the last 5 years, Saquon Barkley's been there, just like Dak Prescott. He's like 2 of the last 4 years, he's been there too. So believe me, right? You don't want to. Business is business. You don't want to root for it, but it happens. It happens a lot.
absolutely. I heard you are speaking at Bet Bash, I believe, right? So people can find you there. Your Twitter is GRP Wins. It was so nice having you on. We'll have to get you on again before the season starts.
Stephanie, thank you for inviting me on. You're a lovely person, and
Thank you.
I hope the static doesn't get through the video too much. Hopefully, that's not that bad.
Yeah, we'll see. It's okay if it does. We'll get you back on for redemption if it does.
All right, Stephanie, keep in touch, and maybe I'll see you.
All right, enjoy your dinner. Okay, talk to you soon, George. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I have talked about Circa a million times, and they are having an Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway. I don't know. Again, I don't know how many times I do this ad read before you guys actually listen and go enter this. It is for a 2-night stay for you and 11 friends. You get a Legacy Club welcome party, best espresso martinis. Need to go there and get one of those. Stadiums, you get to host your fantasy draft at Stadium Swim in Wyndham Clark. It's where I host my draft every year. You get treated like VIPs for the entire stay. You get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab at Stadium Swim. And like I said, your entire league gets to stay at Circa for 2 nights. You can always get 15% off at all Circa properties with promo code SGP15. Enter the Ultimate Fantasy Football Contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. Time for we'll do my bonus. How about we do my pick'em entry for Underdog? Underdog is going long for the NBA Finals for their extender bonus. The longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus. Once again, every week I do this. I decide that I'm going to actually just give you out a golf pick'em here. So for this week at the Travelers in my home state, finishing position better than 20, Henley and Xander and Mr. Pee Wee Harman. That will get you 6.7x your monies. And you've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data. Baked or backed? Baked. How about backed bets? We don't need our baked bets, whatever the fuck that means. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we will be. Miles Turner over 1.5 3-pointers -106 is a power trend that I like. Obviously, Rhythm likes as well. Rhythm predicts him to have 2. Has a 52% win probability. You can get your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. I'm not sure if our next guest is here, but maybe Jamar can jump back on with me. Hopefully, guys, was George, how bad was George's audio? Was it as bad as it sounded for me, or was it okay? Oh, you might be muted, Jamar. You might be muted.
I am muted. Yeah, I can tell you on my side, it did not sound great. I checked all the settings I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think he had some good bets there. And I think he had some, I think it's a little, I do like the 40-1 on Dan Campbell to be coach of the year. I know a lot of times it has to be, these teams that really over exceed their expectations, but I think that Lions are in a unique position where people really think they're screwed with Ben Johnson leaving. Like that's all everyone talks about. So I think at that number, it actually is a nice bet.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it as a Bears fan, but it's hard not to believe a little bit in Dan Campbell. We've seen what he's done. We see that, he's crying after games about how much he loves these guys, and he gets the whole team fired up.
He really does. Everyone's like, Steph, that was fucking awful. What are these saying? I can't make out a word he's saying. Oh no, guys, this audio is trash. Oh no, mom report. Guys, okay. We'll have to get George back on. I'm glad that he came on. Have you placed any futures since I last had you on the show? Is there any futures you've dabbled in?
I've been so focused on the end of the UFL and the start of the CFL that I haven't got into them as much.
Do you have any bets for the CFL? Is the CFL going on right now? Look at me.
The CFL is going on. They just finished week 2.
Okay. I saw Matt Corral. Is he in the league? Is that's
UFL?
Okay. I was like, I saw people complaining about him.
Yeah. No. So the CFL, Canadian Football League, it's in week 2, and as of right now, I would fade the Toronto Argonauts in every game until they look better. They look terrible. Even though they were the champions last year, they look terrible.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Any other bets that you have for those leagues? I feel like I have some Bears bets that I placed that I want to run by you.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Here. Where is Caleb Williams? We think Caleb Williams is going to take a decent jump here, correct?
Yeah, I think he does. I mean, if you look at his efficiency last year, I know they didn't win a lot of games, but his efficiency as far as passing percentage, lack of interceptions, he was very good while being the most sacked quarterback in the league. Now you really revamp that offensive line, especially on the interior, and I think that's going to really help him take that next step. I know a lot of people shit on Caleb Williams. Maybe it's just because he's a Bears quarterback, but I do think he's going to take that next step. They got him some nice weapons as well. I think it's going to be a good year for him.
I don't know what my obsession is with the NFC North's win totals, but I am quite obsessed with it. I just think they're a little bit all over the place. Like Detroit right now is sitting at 10.5. They won 15 games. Okay. The Packers 9.5. They won 11 games last year. They really have not had a lot of turnover. For me, that's an easy at plus 100. For me, that feels like a very easy. I don't want to say easy. Nothing's easy, but the over there looks quite nice. The Vikings are sitting at 8.5. They won 14 games. They've improved their roster that already didn't have a lot of holes. The only difference here is you're taking JJ McCarthy and putting him in to go over the 8.5, I don't think is an unfair, like that seems set. I would probably set that line closer to like a 9.5 there. You've seen what, I think a lot of that is also on top of KOC. And then the Bears is sitting there at 8.5. Any of those stand out to you as far as the win totals are?
I mean, if I bet with my heart, it's Bears over Packers under, because fuck the Packers. But the Vikings one is really interesting because I do think Kevin O'Connell is one of the best coaches in the
Yeah, he
league.
is.
And he's also interesting for coach of the year because their expectations this year quite a bit lower than last year. If he can continue on without missing a beat, I think they got a chance at going over that, playing for the, like maybe getting in the playoffs again, and him winning coach of the year.
I know. And what is it? People are very low on the Vikings every single year. But I don't think people quite realize. And of course, injuries is something that I think as we start talking about NFL futures, it's very easy to forget, like everything is, it sounds one way, but that is excluding any injury that occurs. But this roster right now on paper is very sturdy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's some people doubting whether JJ McCarthy can do what Sam Darnold did. I mean, it's wild to compare to what Sam Darnold did when he had a lot of haters before that season.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about a coach that had Josh Dobbs. He had him 5 days on the team, winning a football game, explaining every play to him right before they ran it. I mean, he's a very smart coach. He can get it done.
You also have so many lovely weapons over there. Like it's not a lot of people. We hear a lot, walking into the best situation as a rookie. I know he's not a rookie, but he is walking into having Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson. Like it doesn't, you don't normally get something like that. And they've, beefed up that O-line. They spent a lot of money. I think Kwesi is aware that the drafts have not gone in their favor under him. But he's done a very good job in free agency, kind of addressing what needs to be addressed.
Yeah, for sure. That is kind of his high and low, right? He doesn't draft great, but he does develop and get in the free agency, get the guys they need.
Absolutely. As far as the Bears, last question on the Bears. I'm not sure if our guest is here yet, but he is. Okay, cool. I'll ask you one last question and then we'll get RB on. So Romo Dunze. It's going a little too low in fantasy. What are our thoughts on Romo Dunze here?
Yeah, I expect him. I mean, he had kind of a disappointing year last year compared to what people thought, but I think he will take a step forward. I mean, you got to realize you go from Matt Eberflus to Ben Johnson. That's a completely different mindset. So,
is it?
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I think he's going to do very well getting his guys involved. Also in best ball, I love taking Luther Burden towards the very end. Not a lot of people putting eyes on him, but I think he's going to work out of the slot there. And I mean, we've seen Ben Johnson have a lot of success with receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the slot. Now, I don't think Burden's going to have an Amon-Ra St. Brown type of season, but I do think he's kind of getting slept on.
Love it. All right. We'll switch over to golf here now. RB is joining us, who's almost a billionaire, apparently, according to his bio. One of my favorite people actually on Twitter. How's it going?
Hey, Steph. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Fun week.
Yeah.
Well, first, yes, fun last week, but also it should be a fun week. I saw you were recently in my hometown. Is that right? Cleveland, Ohio?
Was I? Yes, I was. I just went to a concert.
Beautiful. What'd you think?
I loved it. Blossom Music Center is awesome.
Blossom is great. I've seen everyone from, Dave Matthews to like, I think I saw the Doobie Brothers there, probably some Jimmy Buffett back in the day. Awesome. Yeah, Blossom is great.
Yeah, I saw Halsey and she even said, she was like, this is probably one of the most beautiful outdoor like places that I've played.
Awesome.
Yeah, very cool. I love Cleveland. Cleveland's very underrated. I think they get a bad rap sometimes, but they have a lot of really good places to eat. I enjoy Cleveland quite a bit.
Good. Yeah. No, sports is bad. Food is good.
There you go. It's all right. And sometimes it's okay. It's all right. It's a toss up there. Let's talk about the US Open quick. I have yet to I think I finally digested it all. It was a crazy weekend. I'm someone that had a Burns ticket, had a Hatton ticket. There was a lot of heartbreak, added Hovland live. So it was a little bit painful. JJ Spawn is someone that is impossible not to like. So you want to be excited for him. So any instant reactions from the US Open?
just a fun finish, right? Like, I don't remember the last time we had a spot like that where, I mean, there were legitimately 8 guys who could win in the last hour, like the last 4 or 5 holes. I was with you. I was on the wrong end of it. I obviously was heavily invested in Cameron Young, as I always am. I had a Hatton Futures ticket, and I had a live ad on Robert McIntyre, so it did not go my way. But yeah, really cool. Like Spawn absolutely earned it. He made some insane putts down the stretch, obviously with the tee shot on number 17 as well. That was dynamic. But yeah, really cool. You know, in this era, we don't get a lot of random major winners, and you know, Spawn's been playing great all year, but certainly feels pretty random.
I know. It's funny because I know, you know, that most tipped account, the golf tipped checker. That was the first time I think since I've personally been on golf, in the golf space on Golf Tour, that I saw no one was on him is crazy.
Zero, absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah,
Like there wasn't one random account that I've never seen. Like there was absolutely no one on him. But I think I'd rather lose to JJ than lose to Scotty, because then it's like, why didn't I do the without Scotty market?
Yes, no, for sure. And yeah, look, Scotty, he was right there, and like people are going to look back at, you know, all those 2-footers that he missed, and that certainly hurt. But I think his issue is he just couldn't hit a fairway. Like Scotty was playing out of the rough all week, and I mean, pretty much the rough was a penalty shot. You know, almost a full shot every time you missed a fairway. So,
yeah. Thoughts on Sam Burns not getting relief?
I don't know.
I'm not as upset as everyone else is. Like
look, he asked twice, right? I didn't see anybody else ask for relief all day, and I get that it was after the rain delay, so it was certainly probably worse and probably soggy. Look, I thought he handled it well, other than the actual shot and making double bogey.
Right.
He was already shooting 80. It was pretty. Yeah, I thought it was pretty bleak for him, but it's part of the game.
And then, okay, we'll do 2 more and then we'll get into the Travelers, which I love. Wyndham Clark. So already had a little tantrum where, you know, PR team had to post something a couple weeks ago. Now we are coming back to the clubhouse and actually being destructive in the locker room. Thoughts on that? Have we heard? I haven't checked today. I haven't been on Twitter much today. Has there been any talk of it yet?
No, just the photo circulating. I think the guys from No Laying Up put it up there. No, I mean, Wyndham, seems like a complete psychopath. His last tweet that he had up was his apology from the last time he acted like this.
You can't make this shit up.
No, for sure. So yeah, he's got some work to do. I doubt anything is going to happen from it. But certainly the bad look for him. Yeah.
All right. And then Mr. Rory, people are very annoyed with the way that he won't like talk to the media. He's being a little bit of a DICK. Thoughts on Rory? I think Rory is just like, he won the Masters. I kind of think, not to make assumptions, this feels very like something that's happening off the golf course to me. Like his mind seems somewhere else. And I don't think it's just like, I won the Masters. I think it's some personal something's going on.
Sure. Yeah. We saw it last year. I mean, it was a combination of all the live stuff. And then obviously he filed for divorce for like a month, and then they called that off. Like that's stuff that never goes away. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Masters certainly contributed to it. Not that he's like not motivated or anything, but it's impossible to keep up that level like all summer. And he's now going back. The Open Championship next month is back in his hometown again, where he completely ejected last time. And you know, his mind is pretty much there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if there you are. All right. I didn't know if you froze on me. It might be my internet. I don't know what's going on today. It's probably something on my end. Okay. So Travelers is up here. 2nd year as a signature event, going to my home state of Connecticut in Cromwell, TPC Highlands, one of the shortest tracks, blah, 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 blah. You know, you're going to hear a lot of the same stuff. What really stands out to you about this when you started, you know, looking and doing your research? What were you looking for in the guys that you were going to throw some money on?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think this course is like comfort food, right? It's something we know really well. It's something that's pretty easy. It's obviously after the US Open. You know, it's great that we have a strong field now since it's an elevated event, but like anybody can win here. Obviously we saw Scotty win here last year. It was kind of a hodgepodge leaderboard. Like you had your ball strikers up there mostly, Tom Kim, Tom Hoge, I think Akshay was up there as well. But it's a really, really strong course history course as well. We'll probably talk Patrick Cantlay a little bit. I don't bet that guy, so he's certainly not for me. But yeah, more of a plotter's course. I'm certainly leaning iron play. I don't care as much about guys who are in form, but I think you're obviously going to have some guys like Sam Burns who are going to have a big letdown from last week. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually, one of the guys that, you are one of the Cam Young guys. And I have actually, for the first time in I don't know how long, I have placed a bet on Cam Young. I have placed an each way on Cam Young. I am going to be sick. I don't know why I did it. I'm pretty sure he shot a 59 here last year. I think his top 10 after round 1 at plus 400 is an interesting number as well. I might get behind that. I think if he can stay hot from these last 2 weeks, I hate to admit it, but
it's a good golf course for him. Like his weakness is iron play, specifically long iron play, but he's not a bad wedge player. Obviously, he bombs the hell out of it. And you're not going to have the situation like you had last week where it's a penalty shot every hole. So, yeah, he shot 59 here last year. I think he also had a 66 on Friday and a 66 on Sunday. So, he can obviously play this course well. He was my first bet last night. I think he'll be very popular this week.
Who else you got on your card there?
So, a couple more in the mid-range. I took Russell Henley. I got him at 60 this morning on FanDuel. He's probably down to 40 or 45 most places. And I still think that's a fair number for Henley. Really good golf course for him. He's played here a ton. Obviously won already this year. He was 10th last week at the Open, 5th at the Memorial in his previous start. Just playing really good golf. I don't think people realize how good he is. So I got him. And then I also took Matsuyama. I kind of regret it. He had some erotic ball striking over the weekend at Oakmont. And I'm a sucker for hey, you gained 4 strokes approach on Sunday. He did, as did my final bet, Colin Morikawa. I think he will also probably gain some steam this week. He was 20-1, probably still 19 or 18 most places. And obviously his biggest weakness is he can't win. So it's an interesting dichotomy there.
Yeah. Colin's another one that I don't have I'm not very nice about Colin online. I'll just call it.
I probably lost more money on him than anybody the last year and a half because he's always playing well and he never wins. So much like Cameron Young, probably the 2 guys I've lost.
And it's because he's one where it's he's got to win eventually. He's got to win eventually. He's got to win eventually. And it's hi. Then you watch him on Sunday and I'm like, dude, I don't even believe that you want to win watching you do this is the problem. It is painful. And I told myself I added him to my season-long fantasy team this year. I spent the most of my auction money on him. It has not paid off. He has not even gotten me a 2-man. I am betting him to finish in the top 10. Am I going to regret that? Maybe. But I am going to go back to putting some money on him. I can't get there outright. But if you look at his ball striking, specifically in round 1 of last week, just him alone, his ball striking alone, he's one of these accurate guys. His putting last week, he lost almost 9 strokes. I was like, whoa, when that popped up, I was like, Jesus, Colin, we gotta clean that up a little bit. But it makes sense for Colin here.
Yeah, and as good of a ball striker as he's been, I believe last week at the US Open was his best ball striking week ever in terms of strokes gained approach. So, that certainly tells you where his game's at. And I think that is the number 1 skill he's going to need here. He's played here a couple of times. Course history's fine. I just think he's one of the few guys here that he just has a lot to prove. He's obviously fine. He's going to be on the Ryder Cup team. He's going to be in the playoffs. There's no issue there. But I'm sure not winning in 2.5 years is certainly eating him.
You mentioned Henley. I like him as well. I kind of wish I pulled the trigger on that number a little bit earlier. He popped in my model. And also, he's whatever off the tee, but you don't really need that here. So that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable too when we go ahead and bet on Henley because that's not his strong suit. But guess what? It doesn't really matter. You're going to see guys, club down out the box there anyways. So I have not bet anything additional as far as outright goes. I have guys on my radar, haven't pulled the trigger yet. I did bet a top 20 on Pee Wee Harman at plus 210. Talk about course history. He is one of the strongest course histories that you can find amongst this field. Top 10 in the last 4 starts at this course. You can also look beyond the cut and then find more similar finishes there. So he has not been playing well. I'm not going to act like he is, but I like the shot at a top 20, considering he's top 10 in course history in this field.
I like that. And I think that's probably the market to play in this week. I mean, with Scott, without Scotty market at the time. So like, I think the top 10, top 20s, or like you mentioned, if you can bet each ways, you know, anybody outside of like 40 to 1 in this field, if you want to bet them, I would just bet the each way. It just makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Brian Harman in that range, I would put guys like Daniel Berger, Aaron Rye in there. I think both of them would be pretty popular plays this week, as well as top 20 bets. What do you think about Jason Day? I feel like
I was just going to bring him up. That's funny.
This is a good Jason Day course. He's playing better.
I was surprised when I looked back. His course history isn't like great here, but I also think a lot of like my evaluation of Jason Day, when I've even considered him for like this year, is he's just playing some of the best golf that we've seen him play in a while in general. So it's hard for me to like put a lot of value into, you know, his course history at some of these places, because we haven't seen the best golf out of him regardless. Might have froze up here a little bit. Just to tape cookies here. You might have froze on me there. I also want to bring up Tom Hoge. Why was Tom Hoge so high in my model this week? Give it a second here. I don't know if you want to pop him in and out here, Jay. Maybe not. Maybe not. I can even wrap up here if we'll see if we can jump him in. How's it going? Wow, the technical difficulties. How is Mercury still in reverse cowgirl here? I don't know what's going on. You might still be on mute. We'll see if he was able to jump in. I'll give him a few seconds here.
Yeah, he still looks frozen.
Okay, that's cool. I can even wrap up here. I do like Jason Day. He was top 15 in my model this week. I think it's a really nice Jason Day course. Hopefully he can get a little crazy off the tee is the only thing that sometimes scares me. On my radar, I forgot. I actually lied. I did go back to Akshay. I do have an each way on him. My thing with Akshay is he doesn't like to play at good courses, hard courses. But when it comes to a course like this is the type of place that he thrives. So he did make my outright card. Guys that'll be on my radar are going to be Hoge, Finau, which I hate to even mention his name, but I just did. There we are. What's up?
You were ranting about Jason Day.
I was ranting that the whole thing of my rant was just that I try not to look at his, you know, things historically from the last couple of years with him, because we haven't seen the best golf out of him, but I think he's playing at a different level than we've seen. It's similar to Spieth. Like they're back to playing better golf than we've gotten out of them.
Sure. And then you mentioned Tom Hoge just now. I think there are some long shots I would gamble on here, and it's all going to be those sort of players, like in that sort of ball striking Russell Henley mode. I do think Tom Hoge makes a lot of sense. I like Benny on this week, like as a super long shot. I think people will go to Lucas Glover down there at the very, very bottom of the board.
He hurt me. He hurt me too much at the Masters. I can't. I'm done with him. I'm done.
I see it. I certainly see the vision. I would like the upside of longer off the tee. I don't think he's playing as badly as it looks. You know, he's had a couple top 10s in really good fields. He just finished 6th at the Canadian Open. I just feel like he's coming back. And that was a guy, I mean, we were betting him at like 28 to 1 last year. So I can certainly get behind those guys for sure.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple other names that kind of popped to the top, and I'll take a look as I keep going through, but I think this will be another heavy placement betting type week for me. I found a little bit more success, and I'd rather do that sometimes when you do have Scotty in the field at a course like this, where I don't feel great about putting a ton of units onto these guys if I'm not going to do the without Scotty market.
Yeah, and like I certainly understand why people do it. And if you can find a good number, sure, it certainly helps. I just those numbers are usually cut by 20 or 30%. And then
each way. I'd rather
Yeah.
just see it each way.
right,
Yeah.
and I don't know what number you bet on the Cameron Young each way, but there was a 66 to 1 this morning.
66. Yeah, that's what I bet.
Yeah, like that
Mhm.
that was a great number, I think, for him, and he's already down to 50 most places. Like that's certainly what I'd be targeting this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone else like kind of long shotty that you might look at as the week goes on?
So Nick Taylor has egregious course history here.
Yes, he does.
I'm not sure why. Seems like it would fit him really well, but he's kind of done well in these strong events. He had a really rough stretch kind of this summer, but has now gone 4th at the Memorial, 13th in Canada, 23rd at the US Open. I just think he's a better player than everybody else in this range. So both for like these top 20 placement markets and for DFS for that matter, like I just think he's priced at a point where he's just better than all those guys. So I like a Nick Taylor top 20 here too.
Absolutely. Yeah. He was up there for me. Obviously, and also played, I think, a little bit better last week than some people are expecting. I'm not saying he played great, but you also do some LPGA betting. They were just in Grand Rapids, actually. Is there anyone for are they doing is it the KP, what is it, KPMG?
It's like their PGA championship.
There we go. What do you like there for the girls?
So I typically steal and aggregate my picks from other people.
I love it. Do it.
But I will say, so on that sort of each way market, Lynn Grant was also 66 to 1 at Rivers this morning. She's probably still there. She's kind of like the Cameron Young of the LPGA Tour, but she does have one win. She won a lot on the Ladies European Tour, bombs it off the tee, kind of all over the place, but like always has that upside that like you're chasing. So like anytime she's over like 45 or 50 to 1, she's like an auto bet for me. So
love it.
She'd be my favorite. I bet a couple of the Korean girls up there as well. I don't know too much about them. It's a brand new course. This is the new PGA headquarters course, which is in Frisco, Texas, I think. So brand new course, but I'm going to ride Lynn Grant this week.
I love it. I bet one very long shot just because saw she hold out from like 160 and she was the leader through like going into round 4. Sagstrom 130 to 1 with the each way 6 places. So I actually have an LPGA bet. I'm not saying it's
we're
good
on
one.
Team Sweden this week.
So
she's actually a bit of a dog. She won their match play event this year that they do out at Shadow Creek. So she's got winning upside for sure.
Yeah. There we go. Let her know where they can find your work, find you on Twitter, and then I'll let you get out of here. I have to get you back on here soon.
Yeah, sounds good, because we're going to have to talk Browns and Giants at some point.
Oh, yes, we can do that.
Two pathetic football franchises. Yeah, but you can find me on Twitter, Arbera427. I'm doing a weekly DFS podcast with Andy Lack on the Inside Golf Network. A lot of great people over there. We cover every sport. I pretty much just do golf, but yes, they run the gamut there with all the sports. So
absolutely love it. I will be back on Wednesday. I don't even know what's on the schedule. I'll have to take a peek and let you guys know. Like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Of course.